Hello, everybody, and welcome to our next episode of The Female Fist. I have a really exciting guest with us today. Her name is Saudia Yasmein. She's a singer, she's an actress, and she's on the management team of MG Ring Productions. So please
Right.
give her a warm welcome. How are you doing, Saudia?
I'm good. How are you, girl?
I'm super well. I'm sorry.
Awesome.
To tell our audience, we had some technical difficulties for a little bit. So now we're finally here. We're going to go through this and learn all about you now.
Right on, right on. I'm
So,
here for it.
like I said earlier, you are a singer and an actress, and you're on the management team, currently the only woman on the management team for MG Ring Productions. So can you just go
Correct.
through like how this all tied in together and how you started into this kind of field?
Well, like I said, I'm a singer actor, and Enduring Productions also managed singers and actors, and I kind of got with them to, like I said, brighten my horizons to do more. And because I was such a champion for other people, they were just like, you want to be on our team? Help us, with everybody and do all the computer and the contracts and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, I didn't mind it. I'm always on the computer anyway. So I thought it was just kind of cool to gain some more camaraderie, being that I'm a solo act all the time, and to have other people on my team, it just felt good. And so it started back in 2015, and the more I did, the more I wanted to do, and the more involved I wanted to be. Now, I'm
Right.
not completely hands on with the boxers because we're all spread out across, I want to say, the world, basically,
Oh, I
but
think it is, right? Africa, you mentioned.
Africa, the UK,
Right.
Mexico, here. We did have a couple fighters, I think, in Canada, but now we don't have those fighters any longer. But we had a big fight that was going to be happening in Canada with Jean Pascal and Gary Kopis. I don't know if you had ever saw any of that a couple years ago, but it was huge. And then uh, what's his name? Jean Pascal, or his dad ended up passing, so we had to
Oh,
the fight, and we didn't get to have the fight, but
yeah.
it was a big deal. It was so amazing, you
Yeah.
know. And Mark Sozala or something. He's out there in Canada. I can't
Yeah.
pronounce all those names.
How do you keep track? Like so much
Oh,
talent
girl,
probably that you deal with and so much like amazing athletes that you see. I'm like
man.
really bad with names. Unless I'm talking to you like all the time, like I'm
Right. I got my cheat sheet right here too.
the picture and the name in the picture. We're just
Right.
each other. Yeah, yeah. But you mentioned
Right.
that you also had as you said, a Canadian boxers before, and somebody that from my boxing community knows very well, Natasha Spencer.
Yeah, we used to manage her. She was always a really good athlete. At this point, she's moved on to a different management company and doing some other things, I guess. I really haven't kept up with her career. But when we had her, she was always a joy, always a pleasant young lady. And, but sometimes you outgrow, or you guys, just need something different. So, we wish her well and everything. And I don't know what she's doing, but I hope she's still, knocking folks out.
Well, you know what? Like, honestly, right now with the pandemic, I think that most
Yeah.
of us athletes are just so disarrayed right
Yeah,
now.
it's
What
slow.
to do? How is that going, by the way, with MG Productions and this pandemic?
Well, it's picking up. Last year was really hard. But this year, we've had, gosh, uh, I don't know, we've had about 5 or 6 fights at this point.
Okay.
We've got a couple guys fighting uh, this month, and we've got Trayvon going to be fighting soon. He was just on Mike Orr's Knuckle Up. Oliver McCall, he signed with us, but there's some things coming in the future for him that I'm excited about. I don't know the exact dates, but you know, it's picking up now. It's been a little hard, to get these guys on because, they couldn't have fans and in the arenas and stuff. But now it's coming along.
Okay, well,
You know.
that's great to hear. And I have to say, this is a very unique kind of career.
Can you repeat that, please?
Oh yeah. I said, that's awesome. And I have to say, like, this is a very unique career that you have. Like, not very many people often hear of a woman that's managing like a boxing production is also a singer and also an actress. Like, that's very unique. I think you told me that you even like produced your own film.
Yeah, yeah. Last year during the pandemic, because, as an actor, everything literally shut down,
Right.
and we're just really picking back up, moving, stronger.
Right.
So because I was down, and I didn't have anything to do, I shot my first film. It's called Fractured. It's about mental illness,
Yeah.
um, about how this woman felt once she had lost something that she thought defined her, which was her job. So she's been there 5 years. What happened?
Right.
And a lot of times in the workplace, you will find sexual comments or people getting abused here and there, and it kind of played with that idea. But I was by myself in this movie, so I shot it, I wrote it, I filmed it all alone, and inside of the movie, it shows three different personalities outside of her to figure out what she was going to do and how she was going to handle it. Now, I don't want to tell you the end, but I'll send you the link.
Yeah, yeah, please. And we'll add the link to this once we air this. That's amazing. So like
Yeah.
you mental illness, that's a very
Hmm.
serious topic, obviously. Why did you
Yeah.
choose that specifically for your film?
Because I was by myself. And
Oh,
the only
to like the pandemic
thing,
kind of thing?
well, just being alone and only having to deal with your own
Yeah.
thoughts and your own different sides of you, I thought it would be kind of interesting to see how, because when you go through something, there's all kind of thoughts. There's like innocent thoughts,
Yeah.
there are malicious thoughts,
Right.
there, there's so many different ways to react to things. So I thought, well, maybe I could show that side of it, and see how this girl handles that issue. Now, she didn't handle it very well. In movies, I don't like a happy ending all the time,
Okay.
but I got to I
Sure.
got to play with like the seduction side,
Right.
the very malicious side, and then the very innocent, the child, because every person definitely has a child inside
Yes.
of them, and how that side of her would, she actually got swallowed up inside of the movie. But
Wow.
I don't know. I just thought it would be interesting to play all those characters and see how I could put that film together, because I am an actor and I do look at movies a certain way. I felt like I could do it justice, and I think I did well for my first time.
Well, I'm sure you did. Just the way you even explain it, like I can see how important just the topic is to you. And I can see that you, even as you're going through it, your face, you can see like you really are very passionate about it. So, I mean, obviously,
Oh,
I haven't seen it and I'm going to once you give me the link.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm really excited to see like what you just explained to me. I'm really
Yeah,
interested in that.
thank you. Thank you. But all of our families have people that deal with mental issues, and we see a lot of actors. You see them, the happiest actor are the darkest.
Yeah.
You never know what people are going through. That's why, nowadays on TV and all these commercials, they tell you, if this person isn't talking, if you haven't seen them, talk to them,
Yeah.
call them, check on them, see what's going on. Don't live in silence. In my movie, and that's what happened. She shut the door, and became a darkness around her, like she was living in her own mind without
Right.
having anyone to help her come through it and pull through it.
Right.
She relied on those so many thoughts, and we all have them, but some people don't manage them as well as someone else, but we all have them, you know.
And that's something I think a lot of people right now during this pandemic can definitely relate to because of the
Absolutely.
isolation that we're all put under. I think that's really interesting that you made it during the pandemic and how relatable it is to everybody. And like this is especially for athletes too. Like I was just telling you that everybody, like a lot of people, as you said, this film is this explaining about a woman who basically her career was what defined her. And oftentimes
Right.
that's what these athletes too, is that it's their sport that they get very consumed with. You're going to like world championships, or you're on that professional stage, like your focus day in and day
Absolutely.
out is getting ready for those 10 minutes. So it's like
Mhm.
that's very relatable for the athletes, in a sense of like going into like having a pandemic and having everything just shut down.
Shut down.
Yeah, and then what do they do with all their thoughts, all their habits, their physical habits, their
Mhm.
mental habits, their strategies, all their goals that they had set
Exactly.
in place for the year? That's great. Do you
Thank
and
you.
I have to ask, this is a little bit like going into your other talent that you mentioned. Do
Oh,
you still
yes,
sing as
mhm.
well? Is that something that you still
Yeah.
yeah?
Oh, oh my, I'm in Ohio now, and I'm living in an apartment, and the people, they see me outside, they say, "Was that you singing?" I'm like, should I say yes, or was it good? Yeah, okay, yeah, it was me. I sing all
It's like, "Oh, but did you like it? Then yes, it was me."
yeah, and I'm writing a song right now. I just wrote a song for an upcoming movie, and they just called me again for another song that they need written, like their theme song for an upcoming, like a type of kung fu type scenario movie. I know the title, but I can't
Right,
say the
right, right, right.
titles and that right now. But yeah, yeah, I do a lot of writing, a lot of singing. I'm working on my own album. I just wrote a song called
Amazing.
Evergreen, and I do national anthems. It's my, during production is also my management. So because the pandemic is, it's opening up, the arenas and things. So they're trying to get me to sing national anthems
That's
now. And
great.
again, yeah. So, it's an ongoing thing. You got to have different streams to, I want to say money streams, but things that you love, like the singing, the acting, even the management. It's fun dealing with these guys. You
Yeah,
know.
and I think that this is amazing that you've also been building this life where you're not limited to just one thing. Because I mean, just as we were saying, right? People get so consumed with this one
Hmm.
thing that they over time believe that that one thing is what defines them. I was talking
Yeah.
to a girl about this just the other day, about even me as a boxer. Like when I was younger, I used to believe that like boxing was just my life. Like I would train
Yeah.
6 days a week, that becomes like it's like an obsession almost, because you just want to get better, you want to win titles, you want to win fights, and that
Hmm.
becomes your focus and your everyday thoughts. And my performance coach kind of grounded me as I, was seeing him, because he works on my sports psychology and all that stuff. And it's
Right. Right.
yeah, like you're an incredible athlete, but you're not just a boxer. There's
Right.
so many other things that you do that make who you are. So I think that
Yeah.
that's great to hear that you have all these, like a singer, actress, and on a management team. Like that's great that you have that already. Like you already understand that you have all these options. And I guess that makes
Yeah.
things kind of fun too, right? Because you don't
Yeah.
have limitations. You can just kind of,
That's true.
you know?
That's true. And I do graphic work. When we were doing the big fight with uh Gene, is it Gene Pascal or Sean Pascal? I think it's Gene Pascal, in Canada, when we are doing that big fight. I did the graphics for it, and that was fun to have my work all over the internet.
Yeah.
I do books for people. I mean, just became a mother. I
Congratulations.
Well, I'm in the midst of adopting my little cousin. He's only one
Oh,
years old, and that's why I'm here in Ohio. I was in LA, but I'm in Ohio, and so I'm adding that to the notch on the belt.
wow. But look at this. You're just doing everything over here. Graphic designing, you're singing, you're acting, you're managing boxers. Like Now you're going to be a mom. Like, this is awesome. That's
Crazy.
amazing. Good for
Dude,
you. All the power to
it's
you.
crazy. Oh man, I appreciate it, but I don't know what kind of religious background, but I just say God be the glory, because He knows where you're strong at, and where you're weak. He's there for you, and I can't believe the things that He's allowing me to do, like right now. You
Yeah.
know, like being here for this 1 year old, being able, like I was checking out Trayvon on my computer, and I was like, okay, I gotta get ready for Scarlett. So I'm doing all this. I'm putting him to bed. I'm like, okay, I got this. It's like, all right, God, I got this.
Yeah, like this is amazing. This is all just when you open yourself to these opportunities, just like,
Yep.
you're totally accepting from different venues. Like, yeah, like I'm
Wow.
ready and
Yeah.
willing to do this. That's when things open up for you, and then you have options.
Yeah.
And even just this,
You're
right?
right. You're
This is
right.
just exposure. This is just for you to
Oh,
kind of
it's
get yourself up there
wonderful.
too. And like, I love this. I love even just hearing this. I love your spirit and your energy. And like,
Oh man, thank you.
yeah, of course. Like, I mean it. And with the MG Ring Productions that you're managing this team, did you ever think, like, was boxing something that you liked watching when you were growing up? Was that something you ever thought that you were at some point going to do before
I'm
the
glad you asked
opportunity
me.
popped up?
I'm glad you asked me that. I'm gonna say no. I never thought I would do it. However, because I can't handle someone hitting me. I
Right.
can't. I think I think I got the guns. Okay, because I was actually trained boxing when I was a little girl. My
Okay.
uncle is David Mills. You probably don't know him. He's a long time ago, but he used to train Ernie Schaefer's back in the day, and
Okay.
he won the Golden Gloves. So he would teach me how to hold my fist. Make sure your thumb is down. Dip your head, and So I know all these things
Well, I already
about
said
boxing,
you get the shoulder already.
right? you
Let me know
know,
what's going
and then,
forward.
right?
Yeah,
He would always grab my head and put your head down. I was like, okay, okay, Uncle David. And my mom gets so mad at him. She's like, that's not a little boy, leave her alone. Back in the day, the
yeah,
parents were like, no, no, no.
yeah. But I
But
love
like I
that.
told, yeah, yeah. And now I wish a person would. I say, don't step to me. I ain't no boxer, but I knock you out. Come on.
Yeah, because your uncle, she's like, I know, tuck my head and you're out.
That's right. That's right. I got you. I know. I mean, I've had bunted and choked a couple guys in my time.
Well, look
I'm
at
just
this. This is so she's a singer and actress, management on the team, and she's a street fighter on the down low.
you know, put me in the MMA ring.
I don't need a ring. I deal with it right there. Nobody has time for
That's right.
gloves right now.
Yeah, man. And also, I have a cousin. His name is Zach Page. Now, I think he was like bigger, probably like in the 90s, but he used to be like the gatekeeper
Okay.
of boxing, like professional boxing. Like before you went to fight like Tyson or
Wow.
Lennox Lewis, a lot of times you would have to fight him first.
Okay.
He never made it to fight Tyson or someone big like that. But before a lot of the fighters would go to that specific heavyweight, they would go through Zach Page. And so
Okay.
he made a career out of being the
The
gatekeeper in
gatekeeper.
professional boxing.
Okay. Wow. But that's like, I mean, even that alone, to be somebody who, well, you got to get through this guy to
Yeah.
get to anybody else because this guy is already at
Yeah.
that level. So that, like, that's, so
Yeah.
you have a family pretty much of all these like high athletic boxers.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all pretty athletic. I've played sports all my life.
Yeah.
My cousins, like my cousin, his name was Rasheen. He had scholarships for football and track. Like, so we've
Oh,
all been really
amazing.
athletic. I've trained as a bodybuilder.
Really?
It's just, dude.
Should I just make those lift?
Right.
Look at you. Okay, so you train as a
Bikini and muscles.
bodybuilder. Continue.
Right.
Tell me more.
Oh, girl, it's just back in, gosh, I guess like 2007. I was like 2 years into Los Angeles, And I was just walking around the mall. And, back in my school days, I was always a basketball player, softball player, so I had that physique, and this trainer, he says, do you bodybuild or something? And I was like, no, I play basketball and I play softball and I play, co-ed when I went to LA. Just,
Awesome.
you just have those little teams.
Yeah.
They're not professional or anything. So he was like, you wanna train and bodybuild? I was like, okay. And I did.
Yeah.
And so I've won a couple times, best overall and
That's
all that. And
awesome.
then I got sick, so I had to stop, you know. But I mean, I've done done a lot, man.
Yeah, and that's
It's kind
amazing.
of
Like,
fun.
okay, so this was 2007. Like, I was 12 years old in 2007. And you were
When
already
you were a
doing these
baby,
competitions, like I was 12.
yeah, I was up there flexing.
Yeah, flex now.
Yeah,
That's
listen, you look
amazing.
like me back in my day.
Yeah, it was like you know what though? It's funny because I've always had people ask me if I do bodybuilding because they don't think that just the way I look, they
Hmm.
never think that I'm a combat athlete. They never
Right,
think that I go and do that. They always think like, do you do like body lifting or this and that, something that doesn't require to be hit in the head? And I'm like,
right. Because you're so pretty.
thank you. And I used to always get that stereotype too. Like, why would you
Hmm.
want to ruin the pretty face? It's like, well, why do you think I'm going? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand, but girl, it couldn't be me. I'd like take these off, take these
No, no,
gloves
no.
off. We
But like,
fighting.
but like even you, because you're such a beautiful woman. Like, did you ever
Oh,
experience
thank
like
you.
having that like where people were like, you're doing all these things. Like, you're in very strong, powerful positions, like
Hmm.
athletically, in like you're a solo singer, you're a solo actress, you're on this management team for like, well, a lot actually. Like, it's an entertainment business almost. So like
Hmm.
you're doing all these things in a very high professional role. Did you ever get those kind of backlashes being in this position?
Well, I would say when I was younger, uh, for mostly in sports, I would get that side eye kind of thing. Like, I don't want to verbalize, but they give me that
Right.
little side eye. But as far as like being older now, and I don't know if I just don't pay it any attention, but I've been really blessed to have people um, more attract to me versus throw darts at me.
Yes,
Uh, I always tell people I have a gift of attraction, not of beauty, but just
but you are.
when say again.
But you are. You are beautiful. I could see that. Like you could
I
say
mean, I could okay. Anyway, but I'm saying, but when I speak, I don't have a lot of problems with a lot of women. I don't have disrespectful men approaching me. I don't have people putting me down. I don't have a lot of that. And I never have. Like I said, I got the side eye from playing sports sometimes growing up. But as an adult and in these different roles, either I don't pay attention, or I've just been blessed that I don't get a lot of that backlash. But I understand what you're saying because people they have a tendency to not um, like
like they don't
champion you.
expect it.
They don't
Yeah,
expect it, and they don't champion you when you are that person, that
yeah.
woman, versus a dude in the field. Oh, speaking of, there's one thing in our management crew with the boxers. Um, I remember I used to tell our CEO, I say, you need to tell those guys when I say something, they have to listen.
Yeah.
you know,
Okay, well,
and
yeah.
I think coming from a woman, sometimes they have a tendency not to move on it. So yeah, I do. I have had that.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
we
I
got those straight
totally
now.
understand.
We got them
But I
straight
get
now.
that. I get that because I think that it's hard for these guys, especially when it comes to boxing, because it's such a male dominant
Oh
sport.
yeah.
And they kind of, I think it'd be hard for men to think, does she know what she's talking about almost?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, and that's probably why they weren't communicating with me as much. But now, we are family. Even as new people come in, we kind of set the guidelines, and everything kind of is working like a machine now. And I appreciate, because a lot of times you need someone else to um, put it out there to say, hey, this is what we got to do. The person that's in the lead, because if the lead is kind of broken down, everything else behind it is going to break down.
Exactly.
So being that he's strong and I'm in a position right behind him, he's able to nip things in the bud. And that's what you need sometimes, no matter what it is in life. As we go through all this tension that is going on, uh, during this pandemic and before it, with all the George Floyds and, the people hurting Asians and all these kind of things. You need other people to come in and like be your champion or your sounding board or something to help other people get on board. So,
Absolutely. And that's very powerful to
mhm.
state those things. And that is spoken like a true leader as well from yourself. Like this is
Oh, thank you.
very important, but this is why obviously you're in the position that you're in, because even me just talking to you, and I can hear that, like other people, they see that, and I can see like what you mean by this attraction to you in that sense. And you're a perfect
Oh,
role
thank you.
model for many women that,
Oh,
feel like they're doing all these things and they don't know if they can keep up, because you have so many men in these positions that can, even just the presence of so many men could be very intimidating for a
it's
woman to
daunting.
take on those roles.
Hmm.
But you're
You're right.
obviously doing it, no problem.
I won't say no problem, but I don't focus on it at all. I don't focus on the problem. I focus on the task at hand, getting it done. And if things don't work out, I figure that out. We figure it out.
Right.
I try not to focus on the problem too much.
That's
We just get
great.
it figured out, move
And
forward.
like with the MG Productions right now, do they have any female fighters right now currently? Are you working with any of them right now?
As of right now, we have no female fighters right now. They're all male fighters. I think we have about 15 on our roster at the
Okay.
moment.
Got you,
Mhm.
got you, got you. Is that something that like, you could see probably maybe evening out the numbers at some point? Or
I would say, we wouldn't mind looking into having. I won't say even,
right.
because of the world,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
it's created. But I will say, our CEO definitely, if he sees that there's someone that he wants to take on, you know, he will. If
right.
woman, man, whatever. But sometimes the interest isn't there, as much for certain whatever the reasons are, because he makes the last decision on who we sign, who we don't sign. Sometimes I look at them and I'm like, I might say, I don't know. Do you want another 4 round fighter?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I have my input, but we don't get a lot of women looking to sign with us. Now we had Natasha and we had another young lady. We didn't actually get to sign her, but she was interested. We sent her a contract. We never got anything back from her.
Okay.
But we don't have a lot of women because we don't go out searching for them. We
Right.
don't go searching for anybody. They actually, most people come to us,
Okay.
you know. So, you know, if any women came and they're actually good.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
and well, also too, like the woman in professional boxing still in recent years is still climbing. Like it hasn't been
coming
popular.
exactly.
It's still kind of coming up in popularity. Like I have a few friends that just 2 years ago, just turned professional. And I know that even for them, it's been so hard to find other women to fight. So
Right.
I can understand, and
You
also too,
know,
like you said, you don't reach to other people. So maybe even just the lack of knowledge, even just the lack
hmm
of knowing that even they could reach out or something, maybe.
exactly. No, I mean, it's all of that. It's all of that. And since this company's been around since the 80s, he's had that time where he searched and went out, you know. But now he's more picky of
Yeah.
who he signs and what will it do for the company and things like that. But there is one woman who I actually kind of follow. Her name is Clarissa, and I know you know her,
Of
Clarissa Shields.
course, I know Clarissa. I mean, I've
I
never
just,
met her, but like, who doesn't know Clarissa Shields? She's been
I
like
know
gotten high on her charts. Yeah,
she is definitely the future, and I am so proud of her. I
yeah,
love watching her speak. I love listening to her answers. She spoke about Layla Ali, and she had nothing negative to say, and I really appreciated that because Layla was the beginning, and the end is so far, and here's Clarissa Shields making that journey, opening up more doors for young women like yourself, for more women to come into the field. And I'm just really excited. I love watching that young lady.
I
I
love
mean,
watching
just
her
even on
too.
her interviews. Hmm.
Yeah, I love watching her too. I think that she has had such a great, incredible journey. I think her story itself is absolutely phenomenal. Like
Yes, it is.
I cannot wait to see every time she fights. I always, always, always never want to miss her fights. Like if I ever do, I get
Yeah.
very upset.
Yeah.
She's very entertaining to watch. Like I love watching
Yes,
like a
she
lot
is.
of the women, like the women that are up there, like her, Katie Taylor, Marlene Esparza, Siniesa, all these girls are just phenomenal fighters. And like I
Man,
would say half of them are even more entertaining than watching than half the other guys.
then the men. The men, yeah, they get boring sometimes, but those women fighters,
Because
whew,
they know, like they have this passion. They know that they're on
yes,
the stage right now. That's like,
yes.
you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, and that's
Hmm.
so you're hoping that, or maybe one day like Clarissa would like sign into MG. Is that like what you were saying, or?
Well, no, I'm just saying that, when we're speaking of women boxers,
Oh, just
she
okay.
already has a management. I'm just
Yeah, she
saying that
does.
as far as a woman boxer, I totally enjoy uh,
Yeah.
Clarissa Shields. I really do. Like I said, I saw an interview of hers on Facebook. I was just scrolling. I was like, oh, let me see what she's got to say. I just love watching her.
Yeah.
She's very articulate. She's very pleasant, when she's in front of cameras. And I just think she has a wonderful career, even she's undisputed now, but can't wait to see what else she can do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. I would
Yeah.
love to see the rematch between her and Savannah Marshall. That's a fight that I would love to see. Like, because
I
I think
just want to
that
see her.
Savannah Marshall, she's the only other woman, because Clarissa had one loss in her amateurs, and that was to Savannah.
Mhm.
And now they're both
Oh,
professional. Yeah. So that's
wow.
like, I think that there's talk about setting up a fight between the two of
A
them for
rematch.
professionals. And I
Okay.
think that that would be just, I would love to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Miss
back to
Clarissa
you.
Shields. Hmm.
Back to you, talking about all these, amazing athletes, but back to you. So with this, so now that we've established, what you do, to what extent, and all these things, would you have any like future, like, do you have a goal in your career, like something that you're like, this is where I want to get to, this point right here?
Man, my goal as far as my singing, my acting is I always say I want my gift to make way for me, meaning that is what I do. That's it. I want to be in large box office movies. I want to make my album. I actually want to go platinum. You know, um, those are those are the goals that we all have. When we're singers, actors, as anybody in entertainment. As far as enduring productions, I just want enduring productions to just keep growing and becoming a bigger company, bigger and better fighters, and taking the fighters that we have and just to be able to build them to their dreams and their goals. Because part of what we do is we really want to build our guys, our kids, because they are kids. They're coming in at like 19, 20 years old. So one of my goals is to be able to help them reach their highest peak potential, and to be able to take that dream and allow it to take care of them in their life, and
Right.
that they don't, you know I don't want them to get hurt so they can enjoy their lives, So I
course.
just,
Yeah, of
you
course.
know, I just want all of us to just to keep growing and to be better than we were the day before,
Of course.
And if you keep doing that, you'll reach whatever that goal is. And I take that for myself,
You really
with
are a champion
Josiah.
for people.
Yeah, man. Because if you're not, then like what happens? Like you can't be encouraged and get encouraged and not encourage other people. It's just like at my age becoming a mom, for this little person. It's like, okay, what can I pour in him? What am I going to give him? Because it's going to help build me into whatever it is. Because the funny thing, Scarlett, is we really don't know what's going to happen in real life. We do have our goals, but things happen. You
Right.
know, um, but I think you know one of those things is just to be good. Just be good, and things will happen. You'll get blessed, and
It's like what you put out
what
is
you
what you will
you'll
receive.
get back.
Right. If you're
Yeah,
open
no,
to those opportunities, they'll come.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's what's been happening. Like with even now with Enduring Productions, I've been down. I have not had a movie in a long time. I just did a reading, but Enduring Productions uh, is doing movie production now. Getting some things for down the road. So even that's amazing. And that's going to bless me in the big scheme of things.
Of course. Absolutely.
So I just kind of sit back, do what I'm supposed to do, keep studying, keep learning, keep strengthening up these vocal muscles.
Yeah.
you know, so
Absolutely. And if you were to say like the top three things that you value, what would they be?
the top three things are family, and not just your biological family, the family that you create. Uh, I value like being trustworthy,
Mhm.
you know, um, and just life. I really don't know how else to put it.
No, 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 no. That is exactly like I understand what you're saying there. And I think that those are like the most amazing and beautiful things. And I would hope that everybody would have those and those values. You seem to be making
Yeah,
like a fantastic career right now. You seem to be have like, your window, like everything right is set up for you. You're a strong, powerful woman and you're somebody to
thank
look
you.
up to. No, thank
Oh
you
man,
for
I
sharing
thank
your
you.
story.
Thank you, Scarlett. I really appreciate it. And I think the same thing about you, just to have your young self on the rise and talking with me, and with all the beautiful smile and you're forthcoming and you're taking everything in. I just appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're wonderful, and I can't wait to see your
Thank you.
career take off. I
Thank
can
you.
see it.
No,
You give
you're gonna
me
make me
chills.
blush. This is about you. You're gonna make me blush.
It's about us. It really is. It's about all of us. Yep, it really is.
Anything that you'd want to tell the audience right now before we have any final words?
Now, I would just want everyone to listen to this and be encouraged. You know, I know this is a pandemic and we're all kind of just by ourselves. Find things that interest you, allow yourself to feel whatever it is you're feeling, and then get up and put one foot in front of the other. And I'm going to tell you, I lost my cousin in February, and her son is the kid I am adopting or trying to get custody of. And I used to tell her, I say, cousin, all you do, get up in the morning, tell the Lord thank you, put your feet on the floor, and then put one foot in front of the other every day. That's all you can do, and just be the best person you can be. And that's what people should just do that. Don't worry about all the things that you have to worry about. Just try to put one foot in front of the other.
I really hope that everybody's listening to that. And my condolences, my sincere condolences about your cousin. And, what a beautiful thing for you to take on your nephew, like wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
little cousin. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's
Mommy, cousin, mommy now.
mommy now. Wow. Thank you for sharing everything with us.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for being on the show. I cannot wait for everybody to listen to this.
Oh, thank you so much, Scarlett. It's definitely been a pleasure.
Everybody stay tuned for next week's episode of The Female Fist. Thank you so much, Saudia.
You're welcome.